10 signs that the economy is a giant mess as the election approaches. Michael Snyder reports. The health of the economy has been a major determining factor in many past presidential elections, and the health of the economy is certainly going to have an enormous influence on the outcome of the upcoming presidential election. In fact, according to a poll that was just released by Rasmussen, the economy is a number one issue by a wide margin for voters in the ultra-important swing state of Pennsylvania. Unfortunately for the Democrats, most Americans are not pleased with how the economy is performing, and it appears that conditions are now taking another turn for the worse. The following are 10 signs that the economy is a giant mess as the election approaches. Number 1, the number of Americans filing first-time claims for unemployment benefits just hit the highest level in over a year. The number of people filing for unemployment for the first time was at its highest levels in more than a year, partly due to storm damage and labor stoppages. Initial jobless claims for the week ending October 5th came in at 258,000, up 33,000 from last week's level of 225,000, and the highest since it hit the same level in August 2023, data from the Labor Department shows. Number 2, according to Prime America's latest Financial Security Monitor report, the percentage of middle-income households that rate their personal financial situation negatively has hit the highest level that they have ever recorded. Primeca's latest Financial Security Monitor report for the third quarter found 55% of middle-income households now rate their personal financial situation negatively, a 6-point jump from the previous survey. For the first time in a year, a majority of middle-income households are feeling negative about their personal finances, said Glenn Williams, CEO of Primerica. In fact, this latest report represents the highest negative rating we've seen since we began fielding the survey exactly 4 years ago. Number 3, I'm old enough to remember a time in this country when you were set for life if you had $1 million. Unfortunately, thanks to our endless cost of living crisis, it now costs $4.4 million to live the American dream over the course of a lifetime. You can live the American dream, but it will cost you. The lifetime tab for such aspirations as owning a home, driving new cars, raising kids, and taking annual vacations comes to a cool $4.4 million, according to Investopedia, the financial media site. $4.4 million. That's more than the average American earns in a lifetime. Number 4, the company that produces more French fries than anyone else in North America is cutting production and laying off workers due to a dramatic slowdown in consumer demand. Lamb Weston, the largest producer of French fries in North America and a major supplier to fast food chains, restaurants, and grocery stores, is closing a production plant in Washington state. The company announced last week that it would lay off nearly 400 employees, or 4% of its workforce, and temporarily cut production lines in response to slowing customer demand. Number 5, at one time Boeing was flying high, but now it has decided to lay off approximately 10% of its entire workforce. The CEO of Boeing told employees late Friday that the company plans to cut 10% of its total staff over the coming months. Our business is in a difficult position, and it is hard to overstate the challenges we face together, said Kelly Ortberg, who started at CEO of the troubled aircraft maker 2 months ago and has been dealing with a strike by 33,000 hourly workers for half his time on the job. Number 6, the banking industry continues to deeply struggle. So far this year, banks in the United States have permanently shut down over 700 local branches. U.S. banks closed more than 700 branches in the first 9 months of the year, forcing thousands to travel further to access vital services. Bank of America closed the most locations of any bank, shuttering 132 between January and September. U.S. Bank followed swiftly behind, having closed 101 of their own branches. Number 7. After 75 years, True Value has been forced to file for bankruptcy and will be selling substantially all of its operations to a rival. True Value, a 75-year-old hardware store brand, has filed for bankruptcy and is selling substantially all of its operations to a rival, the company announced Monday. In a press release, True Value said it will continue day-to-day operations of selling hardware and other homeware tools to its 4,500 independently operated locations during the Chapter 11 process, which includes a $153 million stalking horse bid from rival company Do It Best. Number 8. Did you ever think that you would live to see a day when hundreds of 7-Eleven stores would be closing? Sadly, that time has now arrived. Several hundred underperforming 7-Eleven locations across North America are closing, the convenience store announced. 7&I Holdings, the chain's Japan-based parent company, revealed in an earnings report Thursday that 444 locations of 7-Elevens are shutting down because of a variety of issues, including slowing sales, declining traffic, inflationary pressures, and a decrease in cigarette purchases. Number 9. Home Depot apparently believes that rough times are ahead because they are dumping millions of square feet of warehouse space. Home Depot is hastily exiting warehouse space to the tune of 3.2 million square feet in a month, according to BizNow. Since late August, Home Depot has put up nearly 4 million square feet of warehouse space for sublease, including a 1.3 million square foot Phoenix warehouse and a 1.1 million square foot distribution center in the Inland Empire, according to CoStar Analytics. Number 10. At this point, things are so bad that even Disney is laying off workers. According to sources cited by Deadline, Disney is pushing ahead with new layoffs as part of a broader cost-saving initiative. About 300 employees across Disney's corporate divisions will be impacted this week. The layoffs of 300 employees began on Tuesday and will continue until the end of the week. They are all U.S.-based employees who work across the company's corporate operations, including legal, HR, finance, and communications. If you have recently lost your job, I feel very badly for you because the employment market has gotten a lot more complicated, quote unquote, than it was in the old days. Once upon a time, being good at what you do was enough, but now other considerations are often more important than pure merit. A top Oregon state official has been put on administrative leave after a pink-haired DEI-obsessed subordinate complained he was making hiring decisions based on qualifications instead of personal identity considerations, according to a report. Mike Shaw, who until recently served as the Oregon Department of Forestry's second in command, was put on blast by Megan Donaker, the department's former DEI strategy officer, for looking, quote, beyond gender and identity in hiring, seeking only candidates most qualified for the job, end quote, Oregon Live reported. He was formally placed on administrative leave August 6 after Donaker filed a formal complaint, according to the Daily Mail. Isn't that nuts? Our society is getting crazier with each passing day, and I'm deeply concerned about where all of this is heading. Sadly, the tough economic times that we are experiencing now are not even worth comparing to the pain that's coming if we don't turn things around. Our system is literally crumbling right in front of our eyes, and unless something dramatic happens, economic conditions in this country will soon become extremely harsh. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophets in the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.